Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Sharkcast. I'm Awesome Sauce here with Horse. This is the episode 2. We're going to be talking about survival games today. We have a format we've kind of put together we think is going to be really nice. We're going to do a two-parter for certain genres, and then we'll actually deep dive certain games that are new and upcoming. This one, again, survival games, we're going to talk about that. Talk about Minecraft, Ark, 7 Days, H1Z1, and Space Engineers. The next one, you'll see when that comes out, what games we're going to be discussing. We're still waiting to hear back from certain companies, and possibly a couple games we need to re-download and retry and refresh ourselves on. But first of all, how are you doing today, Horace?
Doing good.
That's good to hear. So we're going to go ahead and go over this right now. First of all, we're going to start off with Minecraft. I was a little hesitant when Horse brought up that he wanted to talk about Minecraft. He's going to go ahead and explain to you why he thinks it should be considered amongst other survival games. I'm going to let him go first, then I'll go ahead and give my own thoughts and opinions on it. Go ahead, Horse.
So Minecraft is probably among the most basic version of a survival game. You've got your outside threats from the world. You've got your ability to manipulate the world in ways that you see fit. You need to worry about, obviously, keeping your character fed and healed up, and craft and equip yourself with particular items in order to advance yourself. Now, I feel that each one of these facets is important for a survival game at its core. However, each survival game does it differently. Minecraft, being one of the first, obviously has these things very basic and simplified. Also, the fact that it's intended for perhaps a younger audience than the other games that we're going to talk about today. But I feel that it does these things particularly well, especially for the demographic that it sets out to cater to.
I definitely agree with all that. It's obviously made for a younger audience, I think. When it first came out, it was kind of seen as something everybody could pick up and play. Adults to kids, it didn't really matter. But as the genre has grown and other games have come out, I feel like it's still a very much kiddish type game. Obviously, there's certain mod packs and things you can delve into that add a different layer of difficulty and elaborateness, I guess would be the word to use there. But definitely is a really good game and fun game to play, and really a good way to kind of get in the door of the genre. If you're not really sure where to start, you're wanting to try these kind of games out, this is a good place to start and get a really good understanding of it. Not to mention, it really started the voxel craze, from what I can tell. I don't know if there was a game before this, Horse, that had voxels that I'm aware of.
Not one that I personally played. I imagine there would have been some, maybe indies, but nothing that really took off. Nothing that made it big.
So obviously there's not a whole lot really to say about this game because it is so simplified. I mean, you have your basic, eating and drinking, your building, all that kind of stuff as you've already gone over. But outside of that, just the basic game, there's not much to go with. So I can see someone getting very bored of this. However, luckily the genre has grown since this came out, and we have a wide variety, good and bad games to choose from. So we'll go ahead and go into the next one on that one. And it looks like the next one on the list here that you've compiled for us to go over is going to be Space Engineers. Space-based game, space building, which they have, I guess, brought planets in now, which is really exciting. So you can actually go from space to planet and back, build structures, intricate kind of machinery, and all kinds of really amazing things. Personally, I enjoyed it, but I'm more of a PvP guy, and I never really got the sense that it was made for PvPers or really even combatants of any kind. I know they have added, obviously, other things into the game since when I initially played it for the first time, but I still feel like the game, strikes me as a building game, much like Minecraft.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So go ahead, you go ahead and delve into this now, Horse, with your opinion. I think I've said my piece.
Well, the reason I decided to move into the Space Engineers after Minecraft is that, seeing as how Minecraft is such a lighthearted game, I figured we'd move on into Space Engineers, which has, you're right, not a combatant-focused gameplay. It's quite a bit more about letting your inner builder out and quite literally pursuing what you can do as an engineer to construct these buildings and terraform these planets to do whatever it is that you want to do with them, and just generally let your creations come into being. And I figured that would be a nice transition to go from the lighthearted Minecraft. There is so much to this game in a sense of the builder, the engineer. So you've got uh, pistons, you've got motors, you've got uh, just your general blocks. There's tons and tons of mods that you can put on the game. And with the release of planets, like you said, there's all new facets to the game as well. They've got actual gravity that really does come into play when you're building these monstrosities that you come up with. Pretty soon, I believe they're going to have atmospheric interference as well. So that's just another thing that you have to take into consideration when constructing something. And I think it's really neat that they would take their survival game in this sort of a direction, because they've also got in the works AI that will seek and destroy, kind of. They're working on it a lot with their other game, Medieval Engineers, but that's another story. They do take things that they've learned in one game and put them into another and pursue new avenues to make each game help each other. And the AI is one of those things that's coming into play. Now, I'm not quite sure the extent that they've gotten on this, but they have definitely made progress. I know that they have certain outposts on planets that can be destroyed for obviously material gains, but I believe I heard something about them sending attacks on your bases and whatnot as well. So you do need to take into consideration the how do I defend myself mechanic. And I think it's not at the forefront of the game. I think it is still an important part of it, and it serves it well.
The game really is like an engineer's dream with how intricate all the machinery has to interact and all the different systems you can put into place. And I feel like with it and then, Medieval Engineers, it's like those two cousins that you have. And everyone has those two cousins, I think. And you like the one and it's really cool and fun to hang out with, but you still have to put up with the other really fucking annoying cousin. They're always going to be there present and you just can't get rid of them, right? Because I've played Medieval Engineers, not a fan, man, not a fan at all. I mean, it really was very underwhelming, and I haven't really checked to see the development here recently, but it doesn't feel like they've done a whole lot of progress with it the last time I checked. So that's something we probably should look into and maybe even bring into the next podcast. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game here. And that one is my personal favorite genre, as everyone well knows, zombies, and particularly H1Z1. Um, kind of, I guess someone could say like a DayZ clone, but as far as clones go, it was definitely an improvement over the original model. DayZ was, as far as I can tell, still today, pretty much a failure. There was a lot of issues of people spending money where they shouldn't, rumors coming out about that particularly, just poor management, a lot of structural issues within the corporate dynamic, I guess you could say. But the DayZ moving into H1Z1 now, H1Z1 really took that good idea, expanded upon it, and improved it. They brought in the aspect of the battle royale, where it's kind of like a Hunger Games, but with the zombie world they've created, and it's really really high powered, fast paced, and then they brought in even more upon that with team based things. The game itself does have issues though for me. Part of it is a lack of sustainability. Other zombie games or survival games, you build up things and you're able to sustain those for long periods of time, whereas this one I feel like is really lacking in that area. You don't really have a chance after you build something up to really hold on to it for very long, because people will come and take it, which is obviously the nature of the game, survival. And in this game, it's not so much about zombies so much as players, but because of that fact and dealing with these people, I think you get disheartened with it and you don't get to really enjoy the scope of the game, and you have to go to a smaller server. And the problem with that is if you're playing H1Z1, it's probably not just for the PvE, which some people are, I suppose. For me, it's the PvP. And then when I'm doing these PvP things on smaller servers, I don't really see anybody, so it's there's not a really good balance, I think, of the amount of people on each server. You either have too much or none at all. And I would like to see
I
them maybe open it up to like a private server basis, private server basis rather, to where you could have a better better chance at managing the type of players that come into the server, have special rule sets, things like that, like other games have done since then. And I've talked probably too long here, but you go ahead, Horse, and give me your thoughts here.
Well, I definitely agree with you that the game itself is definitely more of a PvP survival based game, but I think to solve the issues that you're talking about, if there was some sort of greater environmental threat, like perhaps special zombies or maybe horde events that players had to worry about, I really think that it would tone down some of the VP heavy theft, I guess is what it would be. It's really when you've got a server like that and there's not really any real threat, that means that there's nothing to do other than to mess with other players. And so it kind of takes the choice, or the consequential choice is actually what I should say, from messing with other players, because usually you've got something that you need to worry about, like if I stay here too long I'll attract a horde or a special, and if I do break it down I get all the stuff that's inside. The H1Z1 players aren't really faced with that choice. They're pretty much faced with, oh, I'm bored, so I'm going to go wreck some people's stuff. And I think that's what really drives that kind of behavior on the larger servers and causes people to perhaps seek out less populated servers like you're talking about, or stick to the battle royale.
One cool thing they do have on it, though, obviously, is the vehicles and the different environmental items that are available to you as far as the towns, exploring them. And they do a good job on that, same as DayZ did. But I mean, the problem is going to be that, again, with the player base and the trolliness of it and stuff like that, where people just get that itch, where like, I'm going to go blow something up, really brings out the worst in people, and it attracts League of Legends players, I guess I would call them. You know, these people that
Oh man.
that just want to fuck with people nonstop and can't ever take a moment to enjoy the game and play it. And in my opinion, I mean, maybe having a role-playing server could help, because people would stick more true to the idea of, okay, I'm a survivor, I'm in this world, I need to find a way to live and keep, you know, and maybe would create a better environment or community. But I don't see them going in that direction. I'm hoping they might go in the direction of the private servers eventually, to try and take strain off themselves, open it up a little bit more. I think it would increase profit because people would buy the game more. I mean, I think it would encourage a lot more people to come into the game or come back to the game even. Any other thoughts on that before we move on?
Well, I definitely agree with you that having the private servers is definitely an upside. Like I don't see any reason as to why it wouldn't be. Um, Pretty much every successful survival game has private servers that you can subscribe for and manipulate in whatever way you want. And it encourages a lot of different styles of play on the same game. You end up with the people who really enjoy the RP aspect of it, and then you wind up with people who, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, who maybe there's no zombies on the server whatsoever, and it's literally just about trying to find people and kill them to rack up a kill score. You just never know what's going to come out of it. I definitely think that it would be a smart move on their part, because hell, they could even dip into renting out the servers themselves and make money that way. There's a lot of untapped potential with H1Z1, and I think if they were to open up those floodgates, that things would just get better for the game.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree. So now we get to move on to my favorite game, and I was super excited to get to this segment of the show here, and we're going to talk about 7 Days to Die, my baby, my love.
Oh man.
This game does things to me, makes me feel things, horse, deep inside my belly, things that I haven't felt since I was a young lad, back in finishing school, learning how to walk properly and speak politely to others. And obviously that fucking failed because I'm an asshole. But more to the point is how amazing this game is, for me at least. And it does have its shortcomings, if you will. But I love this game so much. It's voxel based, which I think is pretty big for survival games. It really adds another element to the PvE side of things, and obviously adds things to the PvP, underground bases, digging into the ground to get resources, things of that nature. The PvP for me is much better than an H1Z1, because it takes the encounters you have with players and in most scenarios spaces it out so that you never know when it's going to happen. And when it finally does, it's just a shock to the system. A shot of adrenaline to your heart. It's just so much. Just I love it. I love it so much. So in my opinion, it's one of the best survival games out there. I'd definitely put it in the top three. I will concede there are some other games out there that do it better as far as survival games go. Better features, better graphics. I mean, there's a number of things, but for me, this one's my favorite, absolute favorite. And then I'm done gushing now. I'm gonna go ahead and go clean up a little bit here after all this. You go ahead and talk now, horse.
Well, I do agree that it is definitely one of the better survival games. I mean, if you're looking for something that rolls up the PvP and the PvE threats all into something that you really need to take into consideration, the base building, the weapon crafting, the need to monitor your state of wellness, and just general safety, it is one of the best games that is on the market right now for this kind of thing. It really does take the essence of survival in every aspect and just present it to you in a very nice package, especially with the Unity 5 update, the new graphics that they've got going. That's really working well for them. They're working on their skills content and just your, I guess, skill level in crafting particular things. I know they're coming out with maybe talent trees or skill trees that I think there's a rudimentary system in place right now, and it's only going to get expanded upon. They've also, it seems like they're working everything towards a class system, and the more it gets there, the better the game looks. So I can honestly say this game, from the point of its conception, has only advanced and gotten better. I have never really seen an update come out that takes away from the game, only stuff that adds to it. Now, after all this praise, obviously, that I'm giving this game,
No,
there
you can
is
stop. You can stop. It's okay. No, it's okay.
there is one thing I have to bring up. The development for this game has been atrociously slow. Now, that's not to say that the game is bad, because it isn't. Obviously, I've already finished saying that it's one of the best things out there. I have had a lot of fun playing this game, and the only reason that I have any gripe about it at all is because it has been in development for so long, and it's not done. Now, I'm not saying, oh, just brand it done. No, I mean it needs to be finished. It needs to reach its end product. The whole thing needs to come to fruition. Otherwise, you don't really get the dedicated player base that other games get, because things are always changing. Now, that said, this thing is going to be a masterpiece when it's finished, but it needs to get there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And that's, for me, is sometimes one of the issues I have with this. And it always seems like I get frustrated with just, there's minor bugs they have that come up, and they do a decent job of getting those patched as quickly as possible. But I feel like the development is very slow. And given the amount of money they've made over the time period that they've made that money, they could have hired more people, because honestly, not in every situation can you say, well, you just need to hire more people. That's going to fix your problem. But in this one, I think it's a fair statement to make, given the size of the current team, which I think is only like around 10 people. It's not very much. And the fact that they've, over the last year, I think hired at least 2 to 3 more people to come in for specialty work. Some worked on combat, some worked on the actual visuals, the POIs, things of that nature. So I'm really hoping that with the new people they've brought in recently, they might even bring another person in to try to push along the development timeline, because they're getting ready to release Alpha 14, which obviously implies they're not getting close to, I don't even know if they'll even go to a beta, but getting close to really being at the end of the road here. Not that I want them to stop ever making things. I would love to see continuous patches, maybe even some kind of expansion thing, things of that nature, but I would like to see this thing getting close to that end so that we're done with it, and them achieving all the goals that they originally set out to do. And I'm hoping they get to that point, because it's my favorite game. I mean, obviously I've already gushed about it enough, but that is an issue I think that really should be. I wouldn't say they need to come out and say, okay, we know we've taken forever, but it's something they need to say to themselves and look in the mirror, and say, okay, well, we need to speed this up somehow. Not take away from the quality, but just bring somebody in to help us out where we're falling short, as they already have done, obviously. Any other thoughts on this, Horse?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to admit, like it's taking quite a while. Even the fanboys, such as yourself, can see that it's been going on for a little bit too long.
About three and
Um,
a half, 4 years now, right?
yeah, and the game itself is just amazing. Like the rework that they've done on the zombies and the introduction of vehicles and like how they're changing the world gen. Like they're even working on stuff like that still, which is it's pretty good that they have the dedication to go back and revisit things that they've already quote unquote completed. But the quality that's coming out of them is constantly improving, and I can't iterate that enough. Is that the more they do this, the better it's getting. Um, but there is definitely a limit, like in terms of time.
All right, so moving on to our next game here. It'll be our last game for this particular podcast. It's going to be Ark Survival Evolved. Obviously, in my opinion, one thing they did amazingly right with this is they timed their release for their early access on Steam for within, I think it was days, if not almost the same day, of Jurassic World coming out. And I feel like both of them, the movie and the game, fed off of each other. Obviously, nothing to do
Oh,
with each
that's
other
just
other than dinosaurs, but
marketing at its best.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all I can say about that.
Obviously, they had no idea either one was doing it. I mean, maybe they were aware of each other. It's possible, but the timing could have not been more perfect. You know, one of the top grossing movies of all time, one of the most successful games of all time. I mean, it's incredible, and it's an incredible game. And I will concede, and me and Horse have discussed this at length since we've known each other about different games, but this is probably the most polished and well done survival game on the market right now. There's some others I would put ahead of it. I would say 7 Days is better, but that's just my opinion. But as far as if I have to go down to an impartial view on things, I would say this is probably the best. You have dinosaurs, which I think everybody that's ever been a kid fucking loves dinosaurs. You get to tame them, so anyone that's ever played Pokemon loves that idea. You have the PvP aspects. The PvE is amazing. There's all kinds of things to do, even beyond taming and stuff like that. If you have the wherewithal to get past all those first things I've already mentioned here, to achieve, going up to the towers, I guess, to summon monsters and fight them for different rewards. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces, and they're still adding content. I don't think they're looking to actually have a quote unquote completed product for another 6 months.
Oh, something like that.
It's getting close, which is impressive considering they went into early access last year. So a timetable of early access of only about a year and a half, maybe 2 years,
Well,
they have to push back.
when they came out and said, this is our game, here you go, you can start playing it, this is our early access, they did make it very clear in one of their very first posts. We are looking to release updates and content as fast as we possibly can for this game. And they certainly have. I mean, during the first 3 months of its life, the game received probably an update every 3 days. And it wasn't just frivolous little things that they were working on. It was major problems and optimizations and new content, and all this stuff is being done at the same rate all the time. I mean, you don't get popular as a game like that, and putting out these like the survival of the fittest tournaments that they have, giving players thousands of dollars if you're not doing well as a company. I mean, they've got everything down from the gorgeous scenes and just graphics in general of this game to the core concepts of their gameplay to their character stats and how they influence the way you play in the world. Like it's mind-boggling the amount of stuff that's in here and how it can all affect each other, including the PvP. I mean, when you've got a T-Rex in front of you and you're thinking, oh my god, how do I get out of here, and then somebody else pranks it and it goes down, then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, now I have to deal with something that was actually able to take out the T-Rex. It's a crazy situation, especially if you're playing on PvP servers. Not to mention the fact that they have end game content like Elder Game. I have not seen a survival genre, a game in the survival genre put forth that sort of concept. Usually it's all sandbox. Usually it's okay, here you are, you can, pick your berries or, boil that pig that you caught, and now all your content is going out and just trying to keep on surviving the way you have been and kill other players. Well, now in Ark, they've got the Brood Mother, for starters, who is a crazy spider that takes a lot of coordination and some very well tamed dinosaurs to take down. And this is only one piece of their Elder Game. They've got an actual dragon that is to be fought and killed for epic tier loots. That's coming in. Well, the official release of that content is coming with the official release of the game. There are some mod packs that have gone in, found the files for the dragon and whatever, and put it in the world, but that's not official, so we won't talk about that. But when you've got all these different aspects to the game, and just seeing how they're continuing to develop every single one of them with more dinos, even decorative pieces to be placed when it comes to building, the character customization again, and you put all that in a world, and then on top of that, you come out and publicly say that you support the modding of your game the way that not many other games do. Like, these guys hold competitions for real money to see who can put out the best mod content. And just the quality of this game and the company behind it is so high that I really don't think any other survival game can touch them.
Big thing for me is also the mods. It's something I wish other games would really embrace, and I don't know if maybe they're arrogant or they refuse to acknowledge that other people might have good ideas. I don't know what it is, but you look at games like 7 Days that has no mod support whatsoever. You look at games like H1Z1 that does not have any mod support that I'm aware of. I mean, things like this, other than obviously, they have the items you can buy from each other, but that's more a cash grab for them than anything else. It's easy to see why this is the best survival game right now. They embrace their community and they encourage them to be unique and different and be a special snowflake and create content for the game to make it even better. I mean, they have custom maps that make their own map that they made themselves look like complete dog shit. And they're okay with it though. That's the thing. Is like, we know that we can't always create exactly what you want as, the consumers. So we're going to open the gates and allow you to come in here and play around. And I think that really drives the success of a game. You look at something like Skyrim, which realistically, if they didn't have the mod support, would be a game we would not talk about as much as we do. Yes, it's a great game, but with mod support, it gives it so much longevity. The fact that you can improve the graphics, all the different things you can add in there, custom quests. I mean,
Yeah.
you come to a game like Ark and you have those same concepts being put into place. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, that's a really good word for it. There really is no better word to describe the experience of this game than wonderful.
For me, I mean, there's other survival games out there that give a different experience, and it all depends on what you're looking for right now. For me, it's the zombies and the PvP the way it's done for 7 days. Some people it's going to be H1Z1 where it's non-stop, to the point where you get numb to it. Everyone's a little bit different, but I think if you're like, well, I need to decide on a survival game that I want to play, if you're not looking to start easy with Minecraft, I think Ark is the one you want to start playing. It does have a much larger learning curve than Minecraft, but it's going to give you a much better experience.
Oh, for sure.
So that pretty much brings us to the end of the games we want to discuss on this one. We are looking to get a couple other games put together and played before we do the next one, which will probably be not next week, but the week after. Again, this Saturday, we are looking to do Shroud of the Avatar by Portalarium. We're going to be doing an exclusive podcast for that.
Gonna be exciting.
Yes. We're also going to do probably a write-up review of it as well. We're obviously going to do the podcast. I've been live streaming it, all that good stuff. Next week's podcast, we haven't really got a chance to figure out exactly what we want to do. We're not going to do part 2 of the survival games yet. That'll be another week or two out. But we are going to do a podcast as regularly as possible, given real life stuff, probably every Wednesday and Saturday, and then putting up for viewing and stuff Thursdays and Sundays. Do you have anything else you want to say, Horse?
No, just I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll be here for the foreseeable future.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.